Good morning, everyone. Tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa. No mai, haere mai, and a warm welcome. It's very interesting, the beginning of this year, I don't think started the way any of us would have anticipated, especially with relevance to the floods that took place at the end of January. And as Grant was saying, when we were just chatting before the seminar started, certainly a lot of Parnell was really badly impacted. And we, in addition to dealing with the likes of Waka Kotahi and Auckland Transport and Auckland Council and everybody fighting over whose responsibility it ultimately was to look after the drains, we find ourselves in a situation now where we're really having to think about what is going to happen to that floodplain at the end of Parnell. So yes, very unusual start to the year, but I wanted to just welcome all of you and say these sessions normally last 45 minutes. We've got two excellent speakers this morning that Josephine is going to introduce, and we will be sharing the link afterwards. It also goes up on our website and it is shared on a newsletter. So over to you, Joey, to please introduce our speakers.
Thank you, Cheryl. Morana, everybody. Tēnā koutou, ko Josephine Tokuingoa, ko Parnell Business Association. The title of our seminar today, we were talking about what e-waste and wool have in common, but both are very innovative solutions to reduce the impacts of the environmental impacts and therefore obviously to help combat climate change, which is very topical at the moment. We have two innovative solutions companies and speakers to present today, and so firstly I'm going to introduce Patrick. So Patrick Moynahan is the Managing Director of Computer Recycling Limited. It's New Zealand's largest e-waste company, and its services provide a portfolio of e-waste solutions across New Zealand. Patrick's commitment to sustainable e-waste disposal is at the core of the work that he does, and computer recycling make it simple for individuals, businesses and institutions to refurbish and recycle, or where appropriate, dispose of their electronic equipment ethically, sustainably, and by diverting hundreds of thousands of kilos from landfill. Patrick seeks out new opportunities to improve recycling infrastructure within New Zealand, and he was awarded $1.5 million grant from the Ministry for the Environment's Waste Minimisation Fund. This fund's been dedicated towards a new infrastructure project, which has included the commission of an installation of something called Blue Box, and that's a world-class sorting machine. It's one of only 8 in the world, and it launched in April 2022. And this now allows computer recycling to process previously unrecyclable items on site in their Penrose plant. So thank you, Patrick, and I will hand over to you.
That's great. Thank you very much. Phenomenal introduction. I know that our marketing manager, Hannah, would have provided that, so I appreciate that. Thank you. I will now share my screen. Share. Just to confirm everyone can see that?
Perfect.
Yep.
Well, welcome. Thank you very much for thinking of myself and inviting me and giving me the opportunity to speak to your members today and the members of the association. So I appreciate the opportunity. My name is Patrick Moynahan. I'm the Managing Director and also owner of Computer Recycling. So I'll take you through a few slides today, which will go over what the issue is, what's currently happening in the market, what some of our solutions are, that meet that need, and some of the cool initiatives and technology that we've implemented to better increase computer recycling, but New Zealand's recycling and recovery rates for hard to recycle electronic waste. It's a bit of a mouthful sometimes when you have to say recycling over and over again. All right. So electronic waste is essentially anything with a plug. So it's the fastest growing segment within the municipal waste stream globally. We continue to consume more and more electronics. Things get smaller and smaller, but the volume per person continues to increase. Encompassed in e-waste or electronic waste are things like flat screen televisions, whiteware, ICT equipment, so computers, hard drives, cell phones. And these are, in a waste perspective, quite a complex mix of materials. There is a lot of heavy metals, so toxic metals that can be recycled, but shouldn't or should be avoided going to landfill. Because of the nature of the material is that if it does leach, it can be very bad for our water streams and contaminate overall landfills. So electronics are made up of a lot of recyclable materials, but they're very complicated, so you need quite specific ways of processing in order to extract the value and therefore divert it from ending up in the ground. So currently, Kiwis are the worst offenders in the OECD, or one of the worst offenders, disposing of close to 20 kilos per person per year. And we are also the only country in the OECD that does not have a framework nor legislation on how businesses or households dispose of their unwanted technology. So we have no regulatory reform as to making it illegal to dispose of this kind of material in landfill. We have no manufacturer responsibility, or very little, that blanket businesses and households. So the very vast majority of all of electronic waste still remains being sent to landfill. Quite a small amount of research in this area. However, one recent study uncovered that about 1.8% of e-waste is being recycled, and that's probably being done by about ourselves and maybe one or two other smaller entities. So what we've done is I had purchased an existing business that was a handful of staff, and worked over the past 4.5, 5 years to position ourselves as a sustainability partner. So what we try to do is we offer solutions back to the consumer, or back to businesses, or back to industry bodies, whereby we will make it cost effective for people to dispose of their electronic waste. And often, in a lot of cases, it's more cost effective than sending it to general landfill. We overlay that with complete transparency back to the individual or business. So as part of electronic waste and the market, there is a lot of smoke and mirrors. So people will say, hey, we'll collect everything and we'll recycle it all. But in a lot of cases, people will collect everything and remove the resaleable assets, or the things that they can harvest and recover value from, and then dump the remaining material into landfill. So we try to take quite a holistic approach and handle all of the different streams. So encompassed in this is we'll do all of the asset auditing, we'll do all of the, and I'll touch on this later, but we'll do all of the secure data erasure. We'll do all the hand dismantling, all the shredding and processing. But so over the past kind of 12 to 24 months, we've built out this 4,000 square metre facility, introduced a quite sophisticated ERP and CRM system for tracking the different downstreams of the material, and then also installed this big machine that I'll show you some photos of shortly that can take a lot of the manual disassembly aspect out of what we're trying to do. So kind of how it works, we'll collect electronic waste, we'll sort it and grade it by hand, and it's a very manual process. And I encourage anyone who's interested to contact myself or Hannah to have a look. It's quite an interesting process compared to any other sort of waste stream. So it's very manual. So there's a lot of hand grading and sorting. There is still a lot of items that don't need to be recycled back into the raw material type. So we can, if we can build a certain volume of them or a certain downstream market, we can refurbish them and then resell them or donate them, or recover some, give it a second life. If we can't do that in stage one, it will then go to either hand dismantling, where we'll pull it apart physically and then categorize the parts and then export them to refineries using EPA permits. And so the refineries are in Belgium and South Korea, and they will extract some of those toxic metals along with some of the precious metals that are contained in electronics. So a very small amount, but in the brains of computers, there are trace elements of gold, silver, platinum, palladium, sometimes even rhodium. And if you can consolidate and build enough volume of these kinds of material at a facility like ours, you can then recover some value, and that will offset, therefore, the recycling charges. So it's a unique business model. And that's part of that recovery thing. So therefore, if we get enough, we consolidate enough volume, we can then find downstreams that will then accept the product, and we'll be able to get value back out of it. Sustainability stats. So I think this financial year, or April to where are we now, March, we've processed about 1.8 or 1.9 million kilos of electronic waste. So we run a team of about 35 staff. Not all of them are hands-on processing electronic waste, but that's spread. It was about 45,000 kilos per person, which is quite, I know I didn't process that much waste myself, but it's a nice stat. We've partnered with over 632 customers just this year alone. So it's quite we try to reach and get as broad as we can, particularly whilst there's no government initiative, nor stewardship, nor collective arrangement. We're trying to really champion this process. Biggest week was 56,000 kilos, which was a bit of a stretch, bit of a stress test on the guys, which was fantastic. And by consolidating and pre-processing electronic waste in New Zealand, instead of exporting it mixed or sending it directly to landfill, we've been able to reduce greenhouse gas emissions by 455,000 kgs. So by not needing to, and this is quite a broad brush of an explanation, but by not needing to mine virgin ore material in order to manufacture new material, or not needing to purchase new devices by being able to replace them with second-hand devices or 3 to 5 year old devices, it brings the carbon impact or the greenhouse gas emissions down significantly. So it's a real driving point for us to say, hey, we know we're doing it. We know we're doing the best we possibly can. How can we measure it, and how can we really give some meaning back to customers, so that they know that they're doing the right thing, but they also they've got something to hang their hat on. And so over the past 12 months as well, there's around about 9,500 kilos of toxic metals that we have removed or diverted from landfill. So again, a big part of this is compliance. Electronic waste sits on the verge of scrap metal recycling in New Zealand and globally, and there's often been quite a grey association between the two fields. So as part of the initiative to try and be the best that we possibly can, and not only in New Zealand, but the world leading standards, we've gone through the compliance process of auditing in order to make sure that customers are given confidence that we are doing exactly what we are telling them we're doing, which includes quality compliance, environmental compliance, health and safety compliance, EPA export accredited permits, and then all the relevant Auckland City Council waste licensing. So this is one of the machines. So in prior to this, there was no infrastructure in New Zealand as far as effectively processing items that couldn't be manually disassembled or manually ripped apart. So about 3 years ago, I saw this wave of flat screen televisions. Unbelievable. Thousands and thousands and thousands of kilograms of TVs. It was ineffective to dismantle them by hand, and they had just previously installed one of these machines in Australia, and it's a Swiss design machine made in France, and it's called the Blue Box. And so I went down the journey of trying to apply for a permit, an export permit from New Zealand and an import permit into Australia. It was damn near impossible, so I said, bugger it, I'll buy one of these machines myself. And so with the help of the Ministry for the Environment, we produced a project plan to import, install, and commission these 2 sets of machines. So it takes hard to recycle heavy plastic content, electronic waste, shreds it in a negative vacuum, and then separates it into the different grades. Once in the different grades, we then load into this machine called the MSS Emax, which actually comes out of the US. So this is an optical sorter where they'll use optics or cameras to scan a high-speed conveyor and identify the different material types that come out of the shredded television, and then using pneumatic air, there's 550 air solenoids that will blow and then blow the different grades of material into the bins below. So into those blue bins, we'll then get singular grades that we can then recover for recycling. So this is kind of stage 1 of the journey. New Zealand is a very, very difficult, well, is a challenging market compared to others because of the sparsity of population and also being a small population. So coupled with our minimum wage is very expensive, so we need to look to certain kinds of machinery to make it more effective to recover these sorts of materials, so it doesn't just all end up going in the bin. Another big part of what we do is security. So a lot of people, and a big barrier for people disposing of their electronic waste in the correct manner is they are worried about what's going to happen to the data. All of us do it. Even until recently, I had like 3 phones in my desk drawer at home, which is silly. But so we have an audited process, and depending on what the needs of the requirements of the customer are, we will take all those devices, produce an audit report so that they are confident that it matches what left their site arrives here. And so it's this chain of custody thing. People want to make sure that their iPhone or their laptop with their bank information isn't going to fall out on the side of the road. And then we will utilize accredited software to overwrite that hard drive so that the data from it is unrecoverable. So the software that's utilised is also used in Australian Defence Force. What's the other one? GCSB certified, and we will then match that report to the audit. And if it's really sensitive, we have 2 methods of then shredding the hard drives into pieces that are completely unretrievable. So one of them, a truck. We've actually got a large shredder in a truck, and we'll drive to site so that it's becoming more and more of a requirement. But customers will say, we've got 100 hard drives, we don't want it to leave our site. we'll drive to their site and then shred the hard drives in the truck under witness whilst also being videotaped, or we'll shred it through another big shredder out there. But it's kind of, as there's no regulation, it's about conditioning the market to realise that you can do the right thing with this kind of material. You want it to be safe and secure, and you want to make sure that you're meeting the environmental outcome that you think is happening with it. This is more for business clients, but identifying your needs and sustainable ambitions, build a plan, scale, scope, logistics, chain of custody, and a very large thing for us in New Zealand is logistics. We work with businesses that might have 1,000 staff throughout the country. 600 of them will be in Auckland, 200 of them will be in Wellington, and then the remainder are scattered around New Zealand. So that again is it's quite a significant amount of the planning and structure around costing to make sure that we meet all of the chain of custody requirements. Then we carry out the work, and then we provide reporting and compliance and environmental impact reports. A big part of what we do is we're trying to build profile. We're continuously trying to educate people of this doesn't need to be a problem. We feel that we can suitably recover the material to a far greater standard than anywhere else. So we want to try and also take that and harness it and then give back to the community. So we do voluntary collection day events throughout Auckland. So we might run 40 to 50 events. There's a big thing around the narrowing of the digital divide. So I read the stats and I forget them, but there's thousands, tens and hundreds of thousands of children in lower decile areas whereby they have zero access to the internet or computers to do their homework and that sort of thing. So we will, as a company, and then also as work with corporations or businesses, I shouldn't say corporations, businesses to collect like 3 or 4 or 5 year old laptops and assets that are still completely functional. You'll still get another 4 or 5 years out of them, but because of their corporate policy, it needs to be refreshed every 3 to 5 years. We'll prepare them ready for redistribution to this amazing company called Recycle Advice, RAD. And they will then distribute it through this network of schools and community groups and things right throughout the country, not just, they're based in Christchurch, but not just in one location. The other one is the engagement through gateway programs. So it's kind of like it's like a bit of rough and ready technology introduction, much more hardware focused, how you physically, they're like computer mechanics almost. So that's really encouraging, and we've got quite great engagement from that. And then we also partner with a variety of the children's charity to not only collect donations from our customers, from our collection events, but also from ourselves as the business. That's about it, really. I hope that is kind of in line with what you were thinking. If anyone has any questions or would like to ask questions in the coming days or anything like that, just feel free to give me an email or flick me a call. I think Hannah will have included my information.
Thank you, yeah, no, that was awesome. And we will hopefully have some time for questions at the end. So if you're happy to stay on, Patrick, that would be awesome, because I'm sure we might have some. I thought that was great. I love the fact that you've identified a particular barrier. Often with sustainability and people trying to do things the right way, there may be some behavior. The protection of the personal information was one massive one, and so by eliminating that, it's you taking away and obviously taking away those barriers, and people are more likely to recycle and use your services. So that's awesome. Thank you. If you don't mind stop sharing, I would like to now introduce our second speaker for this morning, who's Rana Raghbendra. So Rana is the operations manager for Planet Protector Packaging. He has a background in international business and business innovation. He's got over 5 years experience in sustainable, innovative packaging industry, and Rana manages the overall operations for Planet Protector Packaging in New Zealand. Rana's also involved in product innovation, R&D, product management, their B Corp certification and marketing, and recently launched a sampling campaign to create awareness of Woolpack, which is a sustainable thermal packaging technology for the meat industry. So I would thank you, Rana. I'd be delighted to hand over to you now.
I'll share my screen now. Sorry. Hey, good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Morning. I'll just bring it on. Can everyone see my screen?
Perfect. Thank you.
Yes. Yes. Thank you, Parnell Business Association, for this opportunity to speak today. And thank you, Patrick, for insight on e-waste recycling. You guys are doing an amazing job. So first, I would just start off by introducing the company. So Planet Protector Packaging was established in response to the global plastic waste crisis and its impact on our environment and the planet's ocean. So we are an environmental and social impact enterprise on a mission to eliminate polystyrene from supply chains. Our ultimate goal is to become market leaders in thermal packaging that does not harm the planet. So trading since 2016, Planet Protector Packaging is based in Sydney, Australia, and Auckland, New Zealand. Our core business is manufacture of sustainable insulated packaging that is a viable alternative to expanded polystyrene, otherwise known as EPS. This patent pending innovation Woolpack, which is a solution that we came up with, uses sheep's waste wool unsuitable for the textile industry, which is ordinarily designated a waste stream and directed to landfill. So EPS has dominated cold supply chains across the globe for more than 70 years. So Woolpack presents a viable alternative to this environmentally harmful product. Polystyrene, as you know, is one of the worst types of plastic. It breaks down into micro beads, that's similar to those beads there, that escape into oceans and waterways and are digested by marine life and move up the supply chain where they are a threat to human health. So as the world transitions to a more circular economy that sees a polystyrene ban being introduced, the Woolpack technology is a much more needed game changer that we believe will transform supply chains across the globe and be kind to the ocean at the same time. Woolpack is a premium solution that has unrivaled green credentials, where all material components are readily diverted away from landfill through home composting or recycled into more sustainable, reusable options. So let's talk about our product, Woolpack. It's packaging made from wool, nature's smart fiber. The solution is wool. So Woolpack is a disruptive solution that is environmentally responsible, cost-effective, and fully customizable. So our solution is 100% made in New Zealand. The wool that we use is sourced within New Zealand. So it's all the waste wool from all different kind of textile industry and from farms and everywhere that we can find wool. So made from coarse, strong waste fibers that is unsuitable for textile industry. So we have taken this wool, monetized it, commercialized it, and given it a second life and generated a new income stream for sheep farms. So PP's client, Planet Protector's client, include manufacturers, transporters, retailers, wholesalers, and food, seafood, and pharmaceutical companies. For different industries, we have came up with different solutions. One of the solutions, as you can see in the picture there, is our lobster protector, which is a 100% plastic-free solution designed for the lobster industry. And then another solution, which is Pharma Protector, which is for shipping vaccines and any kind of pharmaceutical goods around New Zealand. We are also certified made safe. So we supply like various industries in New Zealand, including Baxter's, DHL Pharma, Global Proficiency on different pharmaceutical clients. And Woolpack is used as a secondary packaging. So it's basically secondary packaging used in shipment of temperature sensitive food and pharmaceutical goods. So it's an insulated packaging. Let me talk about our solutions. So basically the solution compromises of different things. The first one is the wool liner, which is made of waste wool. And the second one is cardboard box, which creates the structure of the solution. And then you have ice packs, and then you have the outer casing, which covers the wool, which is compostable and also recyclable. So we have various options. So just to give an example, to compare our solution with EPS, as you can see, there's an image of 3 sheep and 1 sheep. So basically, if you look at the 3 sheep, they're carrying 250 units of polystyrene EPS compared to the sheep on the side, which is carrying 250 of Woolpack solution. So as you can see, not only is good for the environment, but it actually also saves you space in your warehouse and also reduces transport, which is greenhouse carbon emissions, and also performs better. So we've done testing over the years. I found that our product performs way better. So the idea is, so what we've done is we mimic the natural process of how the sheep stays cool in summer and warm in winter. So basically what we have done is we use that natural process into our product. So let's talk about product. It's reusable, as you know, made from abundance biomass that is possible. Assembly, it's easy to assemble compared to EPS, and it's customizable. So for example, we can customize any kind of size requirement because different industries have different size requirements. So we can cater to all those different industries. So let's talk about, okay, there you go. So this is wool and the circular economy. So just to give you an idea and how the whole process of how we manufacture our product. So first you have your sheep, and then the sheep is sheared, and the sheared wool is collected, all the raw materials collected, then they're washed and they're carded and combed. And after that, they're cut to a specific size required. After they're cut to a certain size, they are encased in different options. So we have 2 options. We have a recyclable option, which is the outer cover, and a compostable option. So according to the client's budget or requirements, we provide them various options. And then our solution, which is encased in a recyclable outer or compostable outer, is then delivered to the client. The client packs it into a box with all their perishable items, pharmaceutical, food. Then it's delivered to the client. The client unpacks the product. Then the client can dispose of the product. Like for example, the outer, if it's recyclable, then it's put into soft plastic. If it's compostable, then it can be composted at home or can be chucked into your general recycling bin because they are certified home compostable outer. And the wool, so we have seen our customers use our wool in so many different ways over the years. A lot of our customers use our product as mulch in their garden. So I've got so many calls from my customers saying, hey, I need more wool because I need to finish my project. So normally what we do is we give them free of charge any kind of offcuts or any things that we have laying around so they can finish their project. We have seen people use our wool in their building, the house insulation as well. Like for example, if they have a certain part of the house they want to insulate, they've used our product to insulate the houses. They've collected up over the years through different grocery deliveries and our clients. They use our product for pipe lagging, for example, for creating a lot of different things, like especially for pet bedding as well. Like a lot of people have a lot of pets, so they use our product as pet bedding. So it can be like a one-off pet bedding that you can use. Like for example, you can get another one and then throw the other one away. So once you throw the product away, let's say, for example, if the product ends up in landfill, what happens is the wool breaks down and it releases, valuable nutrients into the soil. And that soil is, again, creates grass, and the grass is eaten by the sheep and the sheep grows. So that's the whole circle of how, our product works in a circular economy. there you go. So basically the change is coming. So in sustainable packaging industry now, the change is coming. So now people, well, currently people are so used to using EPS, it's very hard for people to actually change the whole process because their whole system process is designed around EPS. But now we've seen a change coming. So consumers are demanding it, like 87% believe that New Zealand. So this is based, okay, just to give you an introduction, this was a survey done by Sustainable Business Council in New Zealand. So according to which 87% believe that New Zealand as a country should aim to be more sustainable. 85% feel that everyone in New Zealand has a responsibility to do more around living sustainably, and 81% want the government to do more to help them bring that change. And business, like for example, using our product would also utilize, or will help business reach their ESG goals, environmental, social, and governance goals. And government has recently introduced plastic and plastic-related product regulation 2022. In the first phase, we have already seen a lot of cups and polystyrene made cups being banned in New Zealand, which was in 2022. In 2023, we're seeing straws, cutleries being banned. In 2025, which is going to be interesting, we'll see polystyrene being banned in packaging overall. So that's going to bring a massive change in New Zealand by 2025. So just to show you the impact that we have done so far. So the impact here is Australia and New Zealand. So the ratio is 50-50. So basically the total impact that you see here is 50% New Zealand, 50% Australia. So since we started doing this back in 2016, we have replaced about 9.7 million polystyrene boxes. And we have diverted about 4,720 tons of wastewater from landfill and generated about 9.4 billion income to sheep farmers. So by 2025, we projected this to go to 28.2 million and 13,000 tons to 27.4 million for sheep farmers. So we are hoping there's a big change coming in 2025 once the polystyrene ban is introduced by the government. So, and we contribute to 11 out of 17 SDG, which is Sustainable Development Goals by UN. So say out of 17, we have 11 of our goals are aligned with the UN. So this is just a list of awards that we have won over the years in our global stage, just to give you an idea. There you go. So this is just a share of the insulated packaging industry around the world, which is projected to grow to USD 4.48 billion by 2028. So we plan to grow our market from Australia and New Zealand to, especially to Asia now. So this is where we're heading, like in terms of a company. So in New Zealand, we already have our manufacturing process in place. Everything is manufactured in New Zealand. But in Australia, we're about to establish a new manufacturing plant. The government has helped us to, has given us a certain grant to establish this plant in Australia, which is going to be in Geelong. So this plant that we're establishing is going to be first state-of-the-art plant, which is going to be the first, which is going to be a really advanced machine, first of its kind in Australasia. So this machine will sort of recycle any kind of fiber waste. So not only wool, we're looking at expanding into any kind of different waste, especially fiber waste, and expand into different categories like vending insulation, horticulture, and wine. So our target is to expand from insulated packaging into different sectors and also introduce a new machine that will reprocess all the different kind of waste, which could be any kind of waste. We're talking about the shirts that we're wearing, any kind of clothing waste, any kind of agriculture waste as well, like sugarcane waste or what have you. So that's what we plan to do. And we plan to expand into Asia, especially into India, since India is manufactures 70% of the global pharmaceutical products. So we plan to expand into Asia in the coming years. So, yep, that's about it. Thank you very much. Thank you for this opportunity. And I just want to touch base on one more topic apart from just about my product. I just want to talk about greenwashing as well, which I think is an important topic that we don't talk about at all in New Zealand, because I've seen this a lot. So basically, greenwashing is a type of advertisement or marketing spin in which the company portrays that it's doing the right thing where it's not doing the right thing. Just to give an example, there's two types of compostability, right? So you have home compostable products, and then you have industrial compostable products. So home compostable products, you can easily dispose them at land, easily dispose them in general recycle bins, whereas industrial compostable products have to be taken to an industrial site to be composted, right? So in New Zealand, we literally have 7, which were limited. But a lot of companies are now like, a lot of people, there's lack of awareness among people to do what to do with them. So normally companies only have the logo on the product, but it doesn't say it's industrial or home compostable, which is creating a lot of confusion. So there's a lot of contamination in the waste stream because the product that needs to be compostable, industrial compostable, are ending up in recycling stream together with plastic because they look alike. So I think, awareness campaign, there needs to be more awareness among people, especially events like this create a lot of awareness. And thank you very much. That's about it. Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Thank you. And we did actually last year do a whole webinar on greenwashing, because totally agree with you. It's very easily done, and for the likes of Patrick's business, they've sought certification that proves they're doing what they say they're doing. So it is important. I loved the lobsters traveling in style. I thought that was awesome. What a innovative product, and the fact that you're generating waste streams for farmers as well, where that would have just gone, as a byproduct. So that now is a valuable resource. So that's awesome. So shall we just open to questions from any of our audience? Have any burning questions? Patrick.
That was phenomenal. Thanks, Rana. It's so cool. I've seen the product, and I've seen the product, and then just thought, oh, that seems cool, but didn't put any more thought into it. But it's awesome. What's it like for a price point? Like, how much more expensive is it?
So in terms of comparing it with polystyrene, we're similar in terms of pricing, I would say. So plus we have different categories. Like, for example, it's not like we have one product, we have different solutions. For example, if you have a product that only needs 12 hours performance, then we have a different grade for that, which would be less cheaper in terms of price point. And if you have a product that needs 24 hours performance, then you have a special product designed for that. Then it goes up to 48 hours, 72 hours. So basically there's different solutions across different things based on what your requirements are. So we have sort of designed a broad range of things for everyone according to their budget, according to what they do. So in terms of price points, so that kind of changes the price point. So it might be cheaper than what you pay, to be honest.
That is so cool.
Wow.
That's wicked.
Thank you.
With a non-food related product, like if we, like bubble wrap.
Exactly. So we're moving into a different space now. So we're moving into protective packaging as well. So currently we're trialing with a lot of different industries, with aluminium industry and also with furniture removing industries. So we're on the verge of signing big clients there. So they're currently testing our product as a protective packaging when they move their product from X to Y. So currently we're trialing with this aluminium company in New Zealand, and they're moving the product in Invercargill and bringing it back to check if our product actually protects the package better than bubble wrap and stuff.
I'll flick you an email after this. We send out technology, it's been a tiny customer, obviously, comparatively, but we send out computers.
Yes.
We tried the cardboard that you put through a machine that makes it fluffy, but reusing old cardboard. But bubble wrap is still that's what's protecting it the best, which is just shit.
Someone else has got to then dispose of that when they receive it, so Yeah.
It's like I'm getting a second-hand computer and reducing X, Y, Z, and then I've got
Exactly. So I see, is it Pictor or Alexis? You've got your hand up. Feel free.
It's both. It's Alexis from Pictor.
Cool.
Thank you both for some fantastic presentations. It's very useful. So we're based just down on Kenwyn Street, and we're a manufacturer of diagnostic products. We're currently launching one product in New Zealand, but we're also sending stuff to America, and it does need to be kept chilled at 2 to 8 degrees.
Yes.
So I just want to check. So have you had any customers that have utilized your Woolpack product and exported internationally?
In terms of export internationally, yes, in Australia, in New Zealand as well.
Yeah.
2 to 8 is the standard pharmaceutical requirement.
Yep.
We currently supply DHL Pharma, so they do a lot of exporting, and
Okay.
it's under that requirement 2 to 8 for 72 hours.
Perfect. You might get a phone call.
That's great.
At the moment, we have our kits that we place into polystyrene with either ice packs or dry ice when we're sending to America or Australia or India. So I'm very, very interested to have a discussion further about the potential.
Thank you very much. Looking forward to it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Any
I think
other
I've got your
questions?
number, but otherwise I'll look you up.
Yeah, we'll share it. We'll share the speaker's details with it. Today.
And sorry, just one more question for you, Patrick, regarding the computer recycling. So we manufacture a reader which has a camera, and we're sort of where possible we recycle and reuse components internally into new devices. But is it how do you arrange or sort out a collection? Is it something that customers acquire a certain quantity of and then give you a call and say, hey, we've got a pickup? Or is it a regularly scheduled thing, or do we drop off? What sort of the
it can be however you want. So you go through the website and book a one-off collection.
Yep.
You can drop it off to our facility. There's a drop-off point.
Yep.
We're partnered with Envirowaste, so there's 5 drop-off points at the different transfer stations throughout Auckland. Or they can be regular scheduled bin collections or whatever it might be. But if it's just smallish, then the easiest thing would be to through the website, you just book in a collection.
Perfect. And do you have any like international networks? Because we have devices situated globally, and rather than sort of sending them back here to New Zealand or through to Germany, is there any networking to your knowledge, or that you can recommend to do a similar process internationally?
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
Perfect.
Well, geez, and they do a better process than we do almost, because they've got more. But yes, we definitely have a network of similar like-minded companies that will recommend one another.
Again, possibly another discussion. I'll take both of these through to our green team. I myself am product manager, so I've got some feet in the ground in terms of what I would like on our actual product packaging. So, but yeah, I can talk to the green team about the electronic waste. So I know at the moment we're collecting. Do you do batteries as well, Patrick?
Yes.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Oh, you're welcome. Glad it was useful. So.
Very, very much so.
Any last questions at all? No. Awesome. Well, thank you very much. As you know, we've recorded the session, so we will share that link with you. So feel free to share that onto your own networks, and you'll also receive the contact information for Patrick and Rana as well. So